Welcome back to the Cherry Picking Fantasy Hockey Podcast presented by Owner's Box, our second draft strategy video today. But first, make sure you go back and go like our latest mock draft video. We hit 300 likes. We're a man of our words. We are going to do a giveaway. It's a
big
surprise.
Big
it's
giveaway.
A surprise,
Big giveaway.
but it's a big giveaway. So go like it, 300 likes, and we'll do a giveaway. And at the same time, just go like this video. Why not, right? Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you subscribe. So today, this actually came from a listener of the show.
Yep.
So we do listen to you guys, by the way.
A nice comment he left us asking for this video.
It was probably like week 1 we started this.
It's one of the first episodes he commented, yeah.
He wanted a round-by-round draft strategy video, like best targets.
Yep.
So we're going to start off here with round 1. Round 1 was the toughest to decide because it really depends on when you're
Round
drafting.
1 is completely determined by your draft slot, right? Early, mid, late. There's, of course, like an obvious top 3. But I guess people would want to help it. Like, if let's say I have the 8th out of 12 picks, who am I taking, right?
And that's why I think for fantasy hockey, something like this is relevant where, you know, after the first few rounds, you can definitely reach on guys and it's not egregious. Like, there's a whole realm of players to go for, so.
That's why we're doing the first 8 rounds today. The first 8 rounds of all players that are kind of solidified as being top 8 round players. But after that, I agree, you can just pick whoever you want, and it really wouldn't be a bad pick.
Yeah. I guess I'll start us off here. I picked a guy that I think people will be he could go pretty much anywhere between like 6 and 12, maybe 14. But that's Makar. I think that there's value there if you want to reach on him in the first round. I think he's like one of the only guys in the first round that you can actually, I guess, change things up and pick him early in the first round. You don't see it very often. But I'm going Makar here as someone who I think can surpass his value in the first round.
Yeah, and I'll continue. That was the guy I have down. I think like all of the forwards you're going for here have potential 100-point upside. Makar, his upside as a defenseman is just over point per game, I think, where if you get that out of your defenseman, you're down 10 or 15 points in a points league here, you know, depending on how you do scoring, maybe a bit more. But, you know, you're not making that up with defensemen elsewhere if you wait on your D.
Yep. I completely agree with Makar. If I'm going to go somewhere else, I have David Pasternak written down here. Someone going near the end of the first round, I would probably take him 7th or 8th in the first round. So that's a target for me.
And I think before you move on, for me, the top 4 are basically solidified.
Yeah,
like if you're
me
first,
too.
you're McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Kucherov.
Yeah.
I would consider Matthews with Kucherov, but yeah.
Yeah, Kucherov seems to be in some drafts he slides back.
So he's the only one up for debate there, I think, right? The top
Yeah.
there is solidified. If you're there, just take the best player available.
Yep.
Don't
completely
overthink
agree.
it.
What do we think for round 2, gentlemen?
Round 2 gets interesting. Pretty much in every draft, I've been getting Barkov in the second round.
I back that.
I'm Barkov over Huberdeau guy. A lot of people like Huberdeau over Barkov. I think now the ADP has adjusted, and they have Barkov ahead of Huberdeau, if I'm not mistaken, which kind of surprises me because a lot of people were very vocal about liking Huberdeau more than Barkov.
Yeah.
I just think that this guy is an elite talent playing on a very offensive team. Obviously, the staple on that power play, can score, shoots the puck a ton. He's definitely my main target in the second round in every draft that I'm drafting in.
Yep. If I had a mid to late second round pick, I would be looking at John Carlson. You guys know that I love that hammer the defenseman early strategy. I mean, he's one of the most consistent players in the NHL. Power play quarterback for Washington, center of their offense, 5-on-5 and power play. So, John Carlson.
And for me, my top target, I love the second round. I love the depth. I love being late first round, trying to grab Makar, then going into here.
Yeah.
My favorite target is still Mitch Marner
I knew
in
you were
this
gonna
group.
say that.
Homer pick, but fellas, fantasy hockey is during the regular season. It's not the playoffs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
that's
I don't
true.
need to worry about him going invisible in the playoffs.
How about in a goals premium league? Would you still consider Marner?
Honestly, it lowers him a bit where maybe not at that turn. You lower him a few spots, but I think the upside is, that same
95
upside
points.
of those late. Yeah, exactly. 95 points, nearing 100 if he plays with Matthews all year, if they both stay healthy. He has it in him. So I'm not overthinking it. Homer pick going with Mitch Marner.
It's a good pick. I like Mitch Marner. I think that I think he has a very safe floor.
Yeah.
As a second round pick too. Like, you're getting a shit ton of points from him. So round 3, this is where things sort of change between us. I know Drew doesn't like my pick, but I'm pretty bullish on DeBrincat in round 3. look, he's playing now. Jonathan Taze is coming back. Patrick Kane is still elite. He's going to be on PP1 no matter what. Like Kirby Doc is probably going to be. They are saying that he's going to start on PP2, but I feel like he's just going to climb his way into PP1. But DeBrincat is going to be a staple on that power play again. And this guy has proven in the past 4 years, he's only 23 years old. He's an elite goal scorer. And in goal-heavy leagues, this is obviously a must draft. But look, like he has the potential of scoring 40 goals this year. And he's shown it, and he's done it. And I think this is a great round 3 pickup.
I don't like it at all. It's not someone I would ever target. I like to take players that are good because they're good, not necessarily because they have a guy like Patrick Kane on their line.
Well, DeBrincat is good.
He's good.
He's a good hockey player.
He's good, but I have Kirill Kaprizov down here, and this is a player who, with a worse supporting cast, he should put up even more goals than DeBrincat.
But are you worried that the supporting cast will really hurt him?
Well, not really, because he showed it last year, even with the bad supporting cast he did well, and now we might have Marco Rossi stepping in. Joel Eriksson could take another step. I really like Kaprizov in the 3rd round. I think he's going 30th overall right now, which is like mid to late 3rd.
Yeah.
I would even consider him late 2nd.
Wow.
So Kaprizov, I think, has a better shot at 50 goals than DeBrincat, so I'd lean Kaprizov.
I like Kaprizov a lot. Like you said, like they're paying him a lot of money. So obviously they believe in him. $9 million a year is pretty wild for his only 2nd year in the NHL. But he obviously proved he can score. But I do worry about that supporting cast. And was it a little bit of a fluke last year?
Let's say Patrick Kane got hurt. How many goals would DeBrincat have?
I still think that team has even their backups is a better supporting cast than what you see in Minnesota. I still think that he could get 30 goals without Patrick Kane there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go. DeBrincat was my 2nd pick, so I won't steal that one from Jared. That's just this time. Kaprizov's a guy I have been avoiding when we've been doing our mocks or been doing our actual drafts so far. Don't necessarily hate it. I'm just not as high on the upside, kind of because of the name, because of what Jeremy mentioned. My favorite guy in the 3rd round, though, has been Andrei Svechnikov. So I think I'm a little higher on Carolina than most people. I think Svechnikov year over year has been developing as a player, and I could see another jump, like, playing with Aho. That first line really, cementing themselves as one of the top lines out there. Not much more to say than that. I think Carolina's a team, just like I said, I'm higher on. So he's a guy that, he's been going, right now it's saying 28th. He's been fluctuating a bit more than some people in his ADP up at this range where they've kind of starting to solidify. But, I don't mind reaching for him a few spots with the names that he is around.
Okay.
I like that pick. I looked heavily into picking him too.
We're on the same.
We're on the same page
here. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold again on this guy. Kind of like Svechnikov, Gensel, and DeBrincat. Of the 3, I like Svechnikov the most. But again, I think they're more team-oriented than individual-oriented. So injuries to other players do worry me a little bit. Like if Aho went down.
And the only thing with Svechnikov, I guess, is if he doesn't play with Aho, which
that's true.
The lines. I don't want to slot him in just like I said with Marner, where you're not actually certain on it. But I still like his fantasy output regardless with the power play time.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
Where are you going round 4, Jeremy?
Round 4, I'm going Pettersson. I know, Drew, you really like him. I think in round 4, you're getting a guy who could have a huge bounce back season.
Huge.
And Canucks are obviously, there's a lot of hype surrounding the Canucks right now. They added a couple more weapons, which will be good for him. I think the ceiling for him in the 4th is crazy. I think that this is a guy who can produce 2nd round results that you're getting in the 4th.
I agree. I would even lean Pettersson over DeBrincat.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think we're gonna find that ADP sort of climb towards the 3rd round.
Yeah, I think especially once the contract gets it, there's not much worry. I know people, everyone thinks he's gonna play, but once it's solidified.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. Once the contract situation is there and training camp comes out and you just find out that he's just sniping, that they're just gonna be like, people are just gonna be starting picking this guy earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Round 4, I'm going to continue with the heavy D strategy and go probably Dougie Hamilton. People are worried about New Jersey being kind of a bad team. Maybe it hurts him a little bit, but I think he's a fantastic player. And the amount of shots that he puts on the net helps in points leagues, helps in categories leagues, should lead to some goals. The team overall could take a step forward. Hughes, Heischer, Hamilton as a group could all move forward. The Devils might not be a bottom dweller this year, so I like Dougie Hamilton for sure in the 4th round.
Yeah, I like both of those. They're both on my radar. I think the context of what you've done so far matters. And I think,
Yeah, I agree.
so if you picked Makar first round, for me, it changes what I've done. Where if I don't have a defenseman, this is where I'm trying to grab one of Hamilton or Hughes, kind of regardless of the makeup. I think they're both good options. If I do have Mark Stone, depending on what I've done in the other rounds, a guy I'm liking, if you're looking for someone a bit safer at this level, is Mark Stone, where there might not be as much offensive upside. Certainly compared to Pettersson, but
Safety,
stability, depending on what you've done so far. Where I like a lot of the guys in the 4th round. It's hard to pick, and I think it's just, for me, it's been coming down to the context of what I've done in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I like Mark Stone a lot. It's the other name I had written down here.
Yeah. I think that, I like Mark Stone. Obviously, you know what you're getting. High floor type of guy, safety in round 4. Yep. Round 5 here, if I'm going no forwards, I know, Drew, did you have something? We picked the same guy.
We picked the same guy here.
We picked the same guy here.
That might mean he might move up to a round 4 ADP if everyone believes in the same guys we believe in.
The cherry picking effect is gonna influence ADPs.
Draft lobbies.
I think if you don't pick a defenseman, Roman Josi is a great 5th round pick.
Roman Josi, if it could even be your first defenseman, I wouldn't hate it.
That's what I'm like. I completely agree. I think that if you go all forwards and he's your number 1, I am not disappointed in that. No, at all.
Big bounce back coming this year for Roman Josi.
Do you think Ryan Ellis leaving helps him?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it definitely. He's just completely the sole guy there in Nashville.
Yeah.
That he's going to be on the power play every single time that line rolls out.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I've been higher on defenseman too, so someone I wouldn't mind taking. I'm going with Kyle Connor for the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
I think it's a guy that, again, I guess just, what I'm seeing was same as Svechnikov, where I see like a more complete player year after year.
Yep.
Obviously a 1st round pick in 2015. Continues to develop. Well over a 30-goal pace last year.
Yep.
Wouldn't be shocked if a guy like this hits 40, especially if you're in a premium goal league. This guy may not even be available once we get around to round 5 now, once you're in round 5. But if he is there, that's someone I've been kind of gravitating to in this round.
I completely agree. I don't see much difference between like Kyle Connor and Jake Gensel, honestly. I don't. Maybe because Jake Gensel's done the 40 goals before.
Yeah.
But I think Kyle Connor takes a step.
All right. So round 6 here. This is where I guess things kind of shift towards. I guess this really depends on who you drafted already if you're going to go defenseman. But if I was low on defenseman, I'd probably pair up Josi in the 5th and then go Tyson Barrie in the 6th. I think that they're still underrating him. Like, he still went to Edmonton. He's the quarterback of the power play, the best power play in the NHL. Shoots the puck a ton, is going to get points. I believe, wasn't he the top fantasy defenseman last year?
It's top in points.
Yes.
Top in points, depending on your league settings then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think in the 6th round, there is tremendous value picking up Tyson Barrie.
Yep. He'll get a lot of those assists where on the power play, he leaves the puck kind of at the blue line, and then McDavid skates it all the way up and scores. Those count, right?
Yeah. Those count. That same reason I'll let you go, but same reason I have Tyson Barrie as my pick here.
I'm going to go with Rupe Hintz, a guy I talked about in a recent episode. I think he could go point per game again this year, and that's amazing for a 6th round ADP.
So why do you like Tyson Barrie?
I think maybe not what Drew's saying, where he's just leaving the puck.
No. I'm saying those count too.
It's an explosive power play, and he was brought in as an offensive-minded guy, right? So he goes from Colorado to Toronto to kind of fill in that same role. Didn't quite pan out in Toronto, just not quite on the same path. It seemed like an off year for him as a Leaf fan, but he's obviously found his home in Edmonton, and it is working. So if he's just playing that offensive game, and you're on that power play with Draisaitl and McDavid, you're gonna get points. And I think that's the thing. Maybe not as good of a season as last year, but he's not getting drafted based on the season he had last year, right? He would be much higher up. He's not considerably down there on defensemen off the board, but he's not in the first 5.
50 assists feels like his floor.
Yeah.
Which is incredible at that point.
Yeah. No, I agree. Round 7, I feel like Brody and I are going to have the same
I was
guy
going to say, I hate drafting with you because we take all of the same players, and that's what I've realized in these past few weeks.
Hopefully this is why it's good that we have people listening here, because they can take our strategy and no one else is following us. So so they can just dominate their drafts.
Do you want me to talk about him, or do you want?
You can talk about him because it's more Brody's guy.
I've been mentioning him, Chris Letang. I think the ADP, like if we keep looking, he is climbing a little higher. I want to say cherry picking effect. I don't. Not us. It's not us making it.
He was like 8th, 9th round, right?
Exactly.
To start. Yeah.
But it's still exact same thing where he brings the floor as a defenseman.
Yeah, I agree.
He is that power play quarterback, and until people, I just keep saying it, but until Pittsburgh proves me otherwise, like I don't care that Malkin's out for a few months.
No, I agree.
Yeah. They just seem to always, they're no longer dominant in the NHL, but they're still always there, and they had a very strong power play last year.
We talked about them being like top 4 power plays last year. Like you're telling me I can get the quarterback of a top 4 power play in the 7th round. I'm taking that.
The best ability is availability. And if he's not playing, then he's not playing. But if he is playing, he's a smash at that ADP. I think I said that on the last time we talked about him. I'm going to go with Jacob Chikrin.
Your guy.
My guy.
His guy.
I would take Jacob Chikrin. I've said it in past episodes as high as like round 4, late round 3.
Didn't you take him in round 5 of our mock draft? Did you? I forget. I remember you took him.
I believe so. I reached.
You reached to get him, yeah.
So I'm taking him in the 7th round. His ADP is in the 8th round right now.
Okay.
But again, I would take him as high as probably the 4th round. Goals in the defensive position are gold. He's their power play quarterback. He's leading the rush out of the defensive zone every shift. He's my guy this year. Jacob Chikrin in the 7th round is a steal.
It'll be interesting how many people back you up this year.
I know.
We need to have a
we
bet
need to hear
on
about it.
Letang versus Chikrin.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if they're
a
going
good
same round,
battle.
if they're around same ADP, I'd be willing to make that bet.
Yeah.
Points on the year?
Let's do it.
Okay.
The only thing I worry about is people just will hate drafting players on Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really,
how bad's that team going to be this year?
I don't mind. For me, I don't know why, but I just look at the individual player and their skill a little bit more than situation. And bad team means maybe more ice time.
Yep,
Right?
I agree.
Even if he doesn't have anyone really to pass to.
Yep.
Still Phil Kessel there.
Yeah.
Still going to get some power plays.
Still power play.
Yeah, everyone. But yeah, that's a good pick, Drew. We'll see.
Okay.
Let us know in the comments if you're backing Drew up here. Last round here, round 8. I went with Jason Robertson. Drew sold me. Well, I did like Jason Robertson, but then Drew went into the stats and he found this stat. What's the stat again?
I believe of his 45 points last year, 5 were on the power play.
Which is insane. That is insane. That means that this guy is obviously a highly skilled player, had a great rookie campaign. Will he regress? Scott Cullen came on the show, talked a little bit about that, about how he's bound to regress a little. But I think if he's on the power play, I think we still see very good production for an 8th round draft pick. He's projected to play first line, but obviously we talked about that Dallas team, that there's just a lot of talent in that lineup. Rupe Hanse's projected to play with him. He's projected to be on power play 1. I just don't really see anything wrong here other than what is the regression going to look like this year, if there is any.
Yep. I back that pick. I'm going with someone that Brody I know likes a lot. It's Anze Kopitar in the 8th round. I think it was 53 points last year, I believe. I think that with Deneau there, he might not have to play the penalty kill, and I think he takes a little bit more of an offensive role. I know a couple of years back he had like that, he was in top 3 for MVP voting, like was it 2017 or 2018? I don't know if we go that much of a rebound, but I think a rebound to like 85 points would be pretty good for Kopitar, and that's awesome for the 8th round.
Yeah, I was going to say Kopitar too. Just on that same thought of, it's another, depending on if you need ceiling or floor. And I think for me, the strategy right around now is you get a few guys that you can play on a weekend. Like you're going to play them if they have a game. You still have 5 or 6 rounds after this to make a lot of kind of dart throws and trying to get those high upside guys, where Kopitar does bring that stability. So his top end, like absolute best performance, may be 85 points. That's a great year out of him. But as long as he's healthy, he's getting you 60, 65, like almost guaranteed. That's his bad year.
Yeah.
At least, until we see the regression, which just has not happened with Anze. So
I back it.
That's where I'm going as well.
Yeah, popular pick. I remember last year, was he going later last year? I kind of forget, but
he seems to always go in this range where, and it might just be other people because he doesn't quite have that upside. Where it's like, I don't want to waste my draft capital on a guy that isn't going to do too much. But I mean, if you take all the forwards in this round, he is going to, get more points than over half of them, right?
Yeah,
if you compare him to every name on this list, he will be easily in the upper half of them.
After hammering defenseman early is a great forward to throw in there in the 8th round.
All right, so that's our round by round fantasy hockey draft strategy video. Make sure you let us know in the comments if you guys want more draft strategy videos. We're always open to new ideas as well, so make sure you drop down new ideas. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.